This recipe doesn't exist. Zero Google results, no cookbook, no video, I made it. But here's what I discovered over 3 months of parallel experiments. Your hands know things your brain hasn't learned yet. And when you stop looking for instructions and start trusting all your intelligence, the ones in your fingers, your eyes, your gut instincts, you don't just create new recipes. You create a completely different relationship with creativity itself. So, I made 2 promises. If I master a skill, always create something new from it. Then, learn a new skill that has nothing to do with it. And this time, I picked film photography. So, why I went analog and why I picked a film camera? I made the conscious choice here of not having to look at a LCD screen, because there isn't any, and because I don't want to take compulsively shots after I compose it. So for me, one shot is almost final. I don't want even to spend 1,000 hours fixing a photo. I spend enough time editing my videos, scripting, writing. So this is for me a moment to slow down, capture the moment the way I feel with the story that I see wants to be told. And every frame also costs money, so it's final-ish. Today we're checking the results after 3 months of waiting and practice. A fermentation that shouldn't work, and photos I had no business taking. But more importantly, you'll see why the world needs more people willing to create what doesn't exist. This recipe is a kuro niku tofu, basically a misozuke made with black garlic. A fermented block of tofu wrapped in layers of its fermenting sauce that will turn into a spreadable kind of cheese. I made up the name as well, and I hope I don't offend anyone. As far as my research goes, no recipe exists for this. But I'm expecting something specific. So I made what existed, the tofu misozuke, and the new experiment which is inspired from. While miso acts as a living ferment, breaking down proteins, fats and sugars through enzyme activity, black garlic has no active ferment, unless I add microbes or enzymes. It acts more like a marinade or curing agent. Instead of transforming food enzymatically, it infuses flavor, sweetness and antioxidants. I expect less softening, but keeping it anaerobic and acidic will help preserve with very deep flavor. The same Sunday I started this, I picked these 2 film cameras. Here's what nobody tells you about learning new skills. Your brain wants to categorize you. You're either creative or technical, either good with your hands or good with concepts. It's the myth of singular intelligence. In the kitchen, I know what I'm doing, but on the street with this camera, a complete beginner. I'm forced to learn light, composition, the mechanical work. These feel like 2 completely different people. But here's where it gets interesting. The mechanical work of this camera, the sensory engagement, how you have to work hard to nail a photo, that's what true agency looks like to me. Understanding and control over your material environment. We live in a world that promotes passivity. Everything's automated, sensor activated, designed to make us dependent. But when you're developing film, cutting negatives, working with chemistry and timing, you can't fake it. The results are objective. Either the photo exists or it doesn't. Of course, even with photography, which is somehow a new medium for me, I'm attracted to these places, to workers, doers, people working with food, and people I can relate with. I don't know if it's because I've worked in markets, I've done this life, it's noisy, it smells food, there is food everywhere, people are doing, and this screams life to me. Those are the stories I want to tell, the people I want to meet, and the real people I want to show through my lenses. And that's the beauty of it. My connections will be completely different to yours. That is the world I want to live in. A world where we're each creating from our own unique perspective instead of copying someone else's template. We all have multiple intelligences: linguistic, logical, spatial, musical, bodily kinesthetic, naturalistic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and most of us only develop 2 or 3. I started noticing something around week 6. The patience I'm learning from film is changing the way I approach cooking and the way I want to approach social media too. I want to pursue both worlds: photography, videography, teaching, building a website, creating systems, courses, books. All these come from different skills, and you can do it all. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. When you work with your hands and pay deep attention to reality as it actually is, you develop a different kind of intelligence. One that sees patterns, connections and possibilities that pure thinking misses. The camera, similarly to cooking, is teaching me diagnostic thinking. Reading light, predicting how shadows will fall, recognizing when something is not quite right. When these intelligences start to talk to each other, you discover that's where real creativity lives, in the intersections. The apprenticeship model of learning through doing, making mistakes with real consequences, developing pattern recognition through repetition, that's how humans have always learned. And after 3 months, let's see what I learned, what happened, and we're gonna start with the food. The texture, exactly what I predicted. Less transformation than miso would create, but look at this color. Traditional miso zucca is deep umami as I expected, but the black garlic version, this is something completely different. It's sweet, intense, almost chocolate-like depth. It's a flavor profile that I didn't know existed 3 months ago. And the main point here is that I didn't just create a new recipe or started learning film photography. I pushed my creative intelligence into a multidimensional space, out of my comfort zone, letting passion, the unknown, my interests all collaborate, creating possibilities that none of them could have access alone. And look, food was my first medium to discover this power of creation, and I've been at it for over 15 years. But any craft is really the same. The world needs more people willing to create what doesn't exist, to trust the processes that they can control, at least at the beginning. And this is not about becoming a photographer or becoming a chef. It's about understanding that you can do it all. You have multiple intelligences in your hands, in your eyes, in your intuition, and they want to work together. Why created here this specific flavor, these images, they didn't exist. Now they do. Not because I followed instructions, but because I trusted something in me I never fully accessed before. And the recipe you're looking for might not exist yet. The creative project you're avoiding because there is no roadmap, that's exactly where you should start. Your particular intersections will create something no one else can. Or maybe this is all fruit of my ADHD, but if it has inspired you to trust a little bit who you uniquely are, subscribe to the channel and dive deeper into more mindful creation and personal agency through food with my book The Mindful Kitchen Map. I will leave the link below. And until next time, peace!